Oh, excellent. And every game that I buy that he has a video for, I watch. And he'll definitely tell you. His name's Rodney Smith. Definitely tell you how to play the game and give you a really good understanding of how to play the game. So
well, and one article I was reading advice for Gencon, and what the person said is don't demo a game unless you're planning to buy it. That the demos are really there for people to try out the game before they're going to buy it. And I didn't realize that. Like, to me, I would have thought if the person's free, it's a chance to just play a game, and I might demo for that reason. And so maybe at Gen Con, rather than demoing games, it's better to just try to find people for pickup games, and you might have a better time than doing demos with the vendors.
Well, I know a lot of companies do demo games that they don't even have there for sale. So I think there are opportunities to demo games that they're not really wanting you to buy.
Right.
It seems to me like there are so many people just egging to buy things at Gen Con. I don't think, I think if you want to go demo a game and you're not have no interest in buying it, don't demo it. That's what I say.
Okay.
I kind of don't agree with the guy who wrote that article because, a lot of games sell out, and they're still demoing them after they sold out. So,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you were just sitting at the booth just playing the same game over and over, eventually you'd be like, you need to move on.
One more game, I gotta win this.
Why don't you just buy the game,
sure.
And then you can go play with your friends. But I think that the demoing at Gen Con goes a little both ways.
Right.
I've demoed games that I bought and demoed games that I didn't buy, and so
I've done pickup games at conventions, a little bit at Gen Con, and they had a game library, which I think I don't know if they're bringing it back this year or not. But last year you could just go in and it was covered by your convention fee, and there's massive numbers of games, and you could just grab one and then play it with your friends. Or I've even just like somebody who's sitting around, I'd say to them, hey, do you want to play this game? And that was some of the best times I had. Just a game that I figured out the rules on the fly, reading about a game that I'd been interested in, and they had it in their library, and then just playing with somebody who I'd never met before. That was kind of a fun experience.
And Gen Con does have a library. It does cost.
It costs.
It costs like $2, and I think $2, and you get a time thing, and it depends on what day. If it's like the first day during the day, I think you get like 8 hours or something for $2. As it goes like into the evenings and into the weekend, I think it goes down to like 6 hours for $2 or something like that. But it does cost a little. But I think that just kind of keeps the crowds down in the library, but I think they have just about every game you can think of in there. So
some of the publishers will have their own, and it'll be a library of their games, and you can only play that publisher's game, but then often those are free. And you can
exactly. You can just go in there.
Yeah, so
and there's free games going on everywhere at Gen Con. If you don't want to spend $2 to go to the library, you just go wander around. They have a huge room after the dealer area closes. People go to that big, huge room, and they just start throwing down games. And if you're walking around, you can get into a game. You can meet all kinds of nice people. It's really cool. And we did that last year, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
So we've come to the part of my list where the first actual game that I'm interested in is on the list. And this game has been on this list since about the beginning of the list, about 6 months ago. I was super excited about this game. I wasn't super excited about having to try to rush into the dealer place and try to get it. But I was super excited about the game, and I was willing to try to get it. But lo and behold, 2 days ago, that game came out. They actually released the game. I actually got a copy. Now, I'm not a reviewer. It's not a reviewer's copy. I just bought it from Miniature Market. So there's a shout out to Miniature Market. I bought it from Miniature Market, and I played it. I love it, and I'm so glad that I do not have to go and try to fight for it at Gen Con, and that is Tyrants of the Underdark. I was so interested in this game because the designers for this game are the same designers that did the Waterdeep game, Lords of Waterdeep. I love Lords of Waterdeep. I actually demoed Lords of Waterdeep years ago before it ever came out. We were at a convention, and the designers were there, and I played it. And I absolutely loved it, and I didn't get to play it again for a year and a half. It took a year and a half for it to actually hit the stores. But I love that game. I bought it when it came out. We've played it so much that my game group refuses to play it anymore. They just, no, we're not playing that. We're tired of that game. So
that's always a fun experience. I played a pre-production version of Impulse, Carl Chudik's game, about a year before it came out. And it is a little disappointing if you like the game,
Yeah,
then you're not
you're
playing
like,
it again for a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, love that game. And when I heard about Tyrants of the Underdark, I was so excited about it. And I got it. I got it 2 days ago. I've played it like 3 times since I've got it. And I love it. It's right down my alley. It may not be for everybody, but I actually love the game. It's a deck builder with area control with some other crazy stuff thrown in. Nothing new, but they just took a bunch of different things from different games and mashed it together and did a really good job of mashing it together. And
your description of it, that's exactly, it sounds like mashed together.
Yeah.
You're like, and then it has this mechanism
Yeah.
and this mechanism. It sounds a little crazy.
It is a little crazy, but I
Yeah.
love it. And me and John are going to play it probably tomorrow with our friend Richard. So, and I also actually signed up to play it at Gencon. So I don't have to take my copy. I can just go play it for 2 hours at Gencon. So that one was one that I was really looking forward to, and I got it. And I'm very, very happy about that. I like to get things before the fact, and then I can just go to Gencon and not have to worry about it. I do want to see the people from Battle Foam. I have a Battle Foam case. In fact, I have 2 of them, and actually that's what I'm taking my luggage. That's my luggage for the con. I'm actually putting my clothes in my Battle Foam case, and then that way I can roll it around, and then I can actually put games in it if I buy games at the con. So I want to go by there because...
What will you do with your clothes once you've replaced
throw
them
them away. You can get clothes at Walmart. You cannot get clothes. You can't get big board games at Walmart. So anyway, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm going by their booth because they have this cool Benson box tray. If you have a Battle Foam, I highly recommend you check it out because it's a foam tray with click boxes in there. You can put little stuff, like little nicks and knacks and pieces and whatever you want to call them, the chits. And so I want to go by there and check that out. Their shipping, there's another one. There are another one where their shipping is ridiculous. So go to Gen Con. If you're going to buy Battle Foam stuff, buy it at Gen Con because like a foam tray costs more to ship it than it costs to buy the tray.
Really, that would be one of the nicest things at Gen Con if it was a way to avoid shipping because the dealers are going to be there, the buyers are going to be there, and so if you could just put in an order and then go and pick it up, it would just be a really nice system, but not a lot of them seem to do that.
Yeah, I wish more of them would do that. I know that Czech Games is doing that this year. Czech Games did it last year with code names, and I went by their booth every day to get a copy of code names, and they were sold out every day, and they had a huge stack of code names that this high behind their thing, and I was like, there's code names right there, and I could not buy it because they were already sold to somebody else. And at the time I was like, I wish I would have thought to do that. And so this year they've got a new game coming out. It's the code names pictures. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of code names, but I'm not going to go through that situation again this year where I'm like, I want that and I can't have it. So I actually pre-ordered it. They don't even make you pay. You can get on their website, you can say, I want this game, they'll put your name on it, you come to the con, you buy it, and that is the way every company should do it. Every company out there, do it that way. It's so much nicer, and some people are old, and we can't get around like these young kids, and so I get into there, and it's just like zoom, and then I'm 700 people back, and
it's a little bit dangerous too. Like I was sitting outside the dealer room before it opened one day, and they kept announcing these people at the doors. They kept saying, "Don't rush the doors," and it was a situation where it could have got dangerous if there was a stampede and somebody fell or something like that. And it's crazy that that's kind of happening. And they should definitely be doing everything they can to kind of just calm down the dealer.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not that big of a deal if you know you're going to Gen Con and say, hey, I want this. I mean, I have no problem even prepaying for it. I know Czech doesn't make you prepay, but I would even have a problem saying, okay, here's my credit card, it's paid for, I'll pick it up at the Gen Con, So, or, at your dealer booth, whatever. So I wish more companies would do that. It would kind of save this, this crazy flight. I do know that Gen Con has the VIG. They also have a Tech Day, which I'm really mad because I could have done Tech Day and I didn't realize it. I'm a professor at a university. So I could have gone into Tech Day and got in early on Thursday, but I didn't know and I bought my ticket. And so next year, I'm getting in. I'm going to Tech Day. In fact, I found out after the fact, after I bought my ticket, that there's all kinds of these seminars that I can actually use for my classroom that I didn't know about. So anyway,
Gen Con seems to have that there's so much
Yeah.
to learn about it. I get the feeling every year you go, you're like, oh, this is how I should be doing things.
Yeah.
And so you almost have to become like a Gen Con expert to really navigate the convention.
Yeah, exactly. And so next year it's going to be different.
Yeah. The VIG, just in case people aren't familiar with that, the big thing it offers is an hour early access to the dealer room.
Yeah,
is that
exactly.
it?
Yeah, but it's quite a bit more. It's quite expensive. Now the tech day, when you're a professor, a teacher, a librarian, I think any of those are included. The tech day is only $20 more, and you get in an hour early, but only one day. So you get one day early and that's it. But there's a lot of seminars and all the seminars are free. So it's really good if you're an educator. I highly recommend that you look into the Tech Day for Gen Con, even if you're not into board games, because they'll teach you some stuff that you can use in your classroom that will keep the kids engaged and get them learning where they think it's a game. So that's a good thing.
Our buddy did the VIG.
Yeah, Rick did. Rick did it. So I'm going to try to talk him into getting this next game that I'm going to talk to you about. So the next game on my list is Scythe. And I think it's going to sell out. I do not really have my hopes up for it. I'd like to get a copy, but if I don't get a copy, I'm not going to cry. I'm going to be a big boy and not cry. I might cry a little. But I'm going to try to get Carl, our friend Richard, into getting it when he gets in his hour early. It's going to depend on how much stuff Richard wants to get. I mean, it's his hour early, and I don't want to take it all, but I am letting him stay in my hotel room. So you hear that, Richard? I'm counting on you, buddy. So, Scythe, that looks like an awesome game. In fact, John is kind of, he's more of a connoisseur of games. I'm more of a, I'll take anything. I'll play anything. Just give it to me. I'll play anytime, anywhere. I'll play. The two things in my life that I'll do anytime, anywhere is play a board game and ride my bike. So if you want to play a board game with me or go on a bike ride, you just call me and say, hey, I'm going to be there in 15 minutes, and I'll be there, wherever it is. You know, I guarantee you. So I'll play anything. John, he likes to, there's certain games that he likes and certain style of games he likes, and so he's a little more particular, but I think Scythe is a game that John will really like. And so I really want to get it so I can play it with John and see his face light up with how much he likes another designer other than Carl. So
it would be really nice if, and I don't know that this happens at Gen Con, I haven't seen it anywhere, but it'd be nice if people who got these tough to find games would set up somewhere and play it a time or two with people who couldn't get it. So if you don't manage to get a copy of Scythe, I'd love to go and play it with somebody who manages to get a copy. But I didn't see anything like that last year.
Well, I actually last night I went and looked to see if there were any Scythe time slots, and there weren't. They were completely sold out. So I was going to buy tickets for you to get to play Scythe, but it was sold out, so I didn't. We could try to go to one and see if there's any openings, but let's just hope that Richard can get it, and then we'll play it at Gen Con. So
that is actually a tip that I read that I think was a good tip. Is Gen Con, if you haven't been before, works entirely with these ticket-based systems. So you have to register for an event. Sometimes it's free in the case of seminars. Sometimes you have to pay a couple bucks or more, and you go. And then it's funny because sometimes they collect the tickets, sometimes they don't. So people can kind of go to events and try to slip in if they're not really policing it. But then the other thing that they have are generic tickets. And so you can use these generic tickets for an event that you haven't bought tickets for. And so the advice is to buy 10 generic tickets or something like that when you get your pass, and just have those in case you want to try to get to something. If somebody hasn't shown up who registered for it, you can sometimes give them a generic ticket and get in. And so I think I'm going to do that this year and get, like a small number of generic tickets just and
there's some seminars that you want to go to too, and you can use those generic tickets for those seminars. The only drawback to that is I think the generic tickets are $2 a piece, and some of the seminars are free. So if you show up with a generic, if you get online and actually register for the seminar, you can get in free. If you show up with a generic ticket, it in effect costs you $2. But $2, I'm not worried about $2. I spend $60, $70 on a freaking game. I don't care about $2 for a ticket.
I care about $2. That's
John does. John's from Canada. They're a little more reserved with their cash flow than us Americans are. I just walk up to booths and throw my wallet at them and say, "Take my money. Just give me what I want." But anyway, it's whatever you want to do. And here's another thing. I'm pretty sure, and you can correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that if you miss something, if you buy a ticket for something and you miss it, you can go to the the area where you get the tickets, and they will transfer your regular ticket into a generic ticket.
Oh, wow.
If you miss an event, because I'm pretty sure I had a buddy last year who missed an event, and he went there and they just gave him generic tickets and took his tickets that he missed the thing. So
that's good of them, but one of the problems is people will register for events and then not show up. And the whole point is that the people who really want to do this thing can get in.
But the people who don't show up, then people with generic tickets get in,
sure.
and so then the generic ticket kind of gets recycled back to the person who didn't show up. So I think it's a good system. I have not heard a lot of complaints about the ticketing system other than John's complaints about. Now, John has a legitimate complaint, though. These companies that charge you $2 so they can demo your game and try to sell it to you, that's kind of crap.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just have free demos. You know, let people come and play your game. If you want to sell your game, demo your game for free. Yeah. Now, like, I got a 2-hour slot to play a game, and I'm willing to pay $2 for that because I get 2 hours of their time for... You know, but if it's just a single demo and you're paying $2, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
I think John
or tournaments. Like I like when companies put on tournaments. Did you do a tournament last year? Or
no, I'm not a tournament player.
No,
I have a tendency to kind of freeze in tournaments. I played in a Magic tournament one time. I lost like the first round because I just can't concentrate. I'm under too much pressure. But I'm there. I'm playing games, have fun, and tournaments are too much pressure for me.
I didn't do too much with tournaments either, but that's certainly something. If you're into a game, if you really like a game that's a bit mainstream, then there's a good chance that there might be a tournament at some point over Gencon. And the nice thing about that is that you're going to be playing with a really, really high level of play.
Right.
So if you're like the best Settlers of Catan player in your group, or if you're the absolute best Race for the Galaxy player in your group, it's a chance to play against some other people who are in some ways the best in the world.
Right. So if you really want to lose, play in a tournament.
Yeah.
if you're tired of winning, play in a tournament. Otherwise, play with your friends so you can win sometime.